My friend, listen to me carefully. The way you begin your morning determines how your entire day unfolds. Every morning is not just a routine. It's a spiritual doorway. It's the moment where heaven opens opportunities and direction is downloaded into your heart. The problem is, many people wake up and rush into their day without direction, without gratitude, and without guidance. And that's why they feel lost, frustrated, and confused. But hear this, every day carries a divine instruction. Every sunrise brings a message from heaven, and those who know how to listen early are the ones who walk in peace, power, and productivity. There's a hidden morning secret that successful and spiritually aligned people know. It's not luck, it's not chance, it's divine discipline. The morning is a spiritual portal. It is not just another hour on the clock. It is the sacred intersection between yesterday's lessons and today's opportunities. When you open your eyes, heaven opens its gates. The morning is not ordinary, it is divine. Most people don't understand this. They treat the morning as something to get through, not something to connect with. But those who rule their mornings rule their days. Have you ever noticed how everything feels different early in the morning? The air is lighter, the world is quiet, and your mind hasn't yet been filled with noise. That silence is not emptiness, it's an invitation. It's the universe whispering, come and align with purpose before the world demands your attention. The greatest mistake you can make is to wake up and immediately hand your peace over to chaos. You grab your phone, scroll through bad news messages or meaningless updates, and wonder why you feel spiritually heavy before breakfast. You opened your day's gate to confusion instead of clarity. When you understand that the morning is a spiritual portal, you stop rushing through it. You begin to approach it like a king entering his throne room. You prepare your atmosphere. You pause before you speak. You breathe before you act. Because the first few moments of your morning are not just moments, they are blueprints. They design your mental architecture for the rest of the day. If you fill the blueprint with gratitude, awareness, and direction, you build a masterpiece. But if you fill it with complaint, distraction, and fear, you build confusion. Think about this, even the sun doesn't rush to rise. It ascends slowly, steadily, gloriously. It doesn't compete with the moon or argue with the darkness. It simply shows up, and darkness flees. That's what your morning should look like. You don't fight with yesterday, you rise above it. You don't rush into your problems, you bring light into them. Every morning carries new energy. Every sunrise is a message that says, you have been given another chance to win. But if you don't pause to recognize that, you start the day as if it owes you something, rather than as if it's gifting you something. And when you see life as a gift, your actions change. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start creating. The morning is the hour when your mind is most programmable. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, they're all waiting for instructions. So what do you feed them? Do you feed them fear or do you feed them faith? Do you start your day saying, I'm tired or I'm ready? That one choice determines whether you walk through an open door or stand outside it. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people waking up at 6 a.m. One rolls over, grabs their phone, scrolls through bad news and complains. Another stressful day. The other one sits up, breathes deeply, whispers gratitude, and takes 5 minutes to visualize success. Both will face challenges that day, but one has already decided who's in control. One will react to life, the other will lead it. The second person has stepped into the morning portal with power. Your mind is like a garden, and the morning is planting time. Whatever you plant then will grow throughout your day. If you plant thoughts of peace, you'll walk in peace. If you plant thoughts of excellence, you'll see opportunities. But if you plant seeds of stress, you'll harvest frustration. The soil doesn't choose the seed, you do. The garden will grow what you allow. The morning is also when your inner voice is clearest. That's when the noise of the world hasn't drowned out the whispers of purpose. Sometimes answers don't come in thunder. They come in stillness. You've been asking for direction, but direction doesn't shout. It waits for silence. That's why early hours are powerful. Heaven's instructions are downloaded in quiet moments. When you give the first part of your day to purpose, you don't just prepare for the day, you command it. You're no longer running behind time. Time starts to work for you. People will look at you and wonder why everything seems to flow in your favor. It's not luck. It's discipline. It's alignment. You decided to step into the spiritual current before others even woke up. And let's be honest, most of the battles we fight daily aren't external, they're internal. You don't fight the world in the morning, you fight your own thoughts. That's why the morning is so powerful. It's the moment you win that inner war. When your alarm rings and you decide to rise instead of snooze, you've already won the first victory of the day. You've chosen discipline over comfort, purpose over passivity. So treat the morning like sacred ground. Guard it. Protect it. Don't allow negativity to enter it. Don't allow distractions to dictate it. The morning will give you whatever you give it. If you offer it laziness, it will give you stagnation. But if you offer it focus, it will give you direction. Remember, nothing in your life will consistently change until your mornings change. Your success, your peace, your clarity, all of them begin with how you begin. You cannot command the outcomes of your day if you cannot command the first hour of it. The morning is not just a routine, it's a revelation. It's the hidden portal that opens divine wisdom, divine energy, and divine favor for your day. Gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual currencies you can ever use. It is more than saying thank you. It is an attitude, a perspective, a vibration that shifts everything around you. Gratitude is the doorway through which divine favor walks into your life. Every morning you wake up, the first thing you should recognize is that you woke up. That alone is a miracle. Millions slept last night and didn't open their eyes again, yet you did. You still have purpose, you still have breath, and you still have a chance to become everything you were created to be. That's not random. It's a divine signal that there's more in you waiting to be released. When you begin your morning with gratitude, you activate a spiritual law. You start to attract more of what you appreciate. The person who constantly complains closes their heart to abundance. The one who gives thanks opens the windows of heaven over their own life. You can't be bitter and blessed at the same time. You can't curse your circumstances and expect them to improve. Life listens to your language, and gratitude is the language of increase. Look around you in the morning. The sun doesn't forget to rise. The air doesn't stop flowing. The trees still stand tall even when storms have shaken them. Every day, creation is testifying that you are surrounded by blessings disguised as ordinary things. Gratitude makes you notice what others overlook. When you start seeing the little gifts, the sound of laughter, the smell of coffee, the voice of someone you love, you train your mind to recognize goodness. And the more you recognize it, the more it multiplies. Think about the people you know who always complain. They wake up angry, they go to work frustrated, and they sleep depressed. Life seems to give them more and more reasons to stay negative. But then there are others, people who might not have much, yet they smile, they share, they radiate peace. Have you ever wondered why life seems to favor them? It's not luck, it's perspective. They have learned that gratitude turns struggle into strength and pain into purpose. Gratitude doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you choose to see the good even when things aren't ideal. You can wake up with bills to pay, yet still thank the source of life for giving you the strength to keep working. You can be facing uncertainty and still be grateful that you have another day to make progress. The grateful person doesn't deny the storm. They acknowledge that even in the storm, there is purpose. Let's be real. It's easy to be grateful when life is going well. But real power is revealed when you can be grateful while waiting for change. When you can look at your challenges and still say, I know something good is coming out of this. That's faith wrapped in gratitude. And that kind of attitude attracts divine movement. It commands unseen help. Gratitude turns delay into preparation and disappointment into redirection. In your morning routine, take time to speak your gratitude aloud. Don't just think it, declare it. Say, I'm thankful for this breath. I'm thankful for my mind. I'm thankful for another chance to get it right. Those words don't just change your emotions, they change your energy. Your environment begins to align with your words. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws opportunities, ideas, and favor towards you. You can even practice gratitude through action. Help someone without expecting anything back. Smile at a stranger. Speak encouragement into another person's life. Gratitude that is expressed multiplies. The more you give it, the more you'll have to give. Think of a time in your life when everything seemed dark. Maybe you lost a job, faced rejection, or felt forgotten. If you look back carefully, you'll realize that in those moments, there was still something that sustained you. A lesson, a friend, a strength you didn't know you had. Gratitude helps you see that even in your hardest seasons, you were never truly abandoned. You were being shaped for the next level. Every successful person you admire understands this secret. They know that nothing grows in the soil of complaint. Complaining repels progress. Gratitude, on the other hand, fertilizes the ground of your destiny. It makes ideas bloom. It attracts helpers. It turns ordinary mornings into divine encounters. So when you wake up and your mind wants to focus on what's missing, shift it. Say, I may not have everything I want, but I have everything I need to begin. Say it until your heart believes it. Say it until your emotions submit to it. Gratitude doesn't just change your situation, it changes you. It transforms your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from victim to victor. In daily life, you can start by writing down 3 things you're grateful for each morning. It might sound simple, but it rewires your thinking. Over time, you'll notice that what used to frustrate you no longer controls you. You'll find yourself calmer, clearer, and more creative. Why? Because gratitude cleanses your mental space. It declutters your heart so divine direction can flow. Imagine driving your car with a dirty windshield. You wouldn't see clearly, no matter how good your destination is. Gratitude is like wiping that windshield clean every morning. It doesn't change the road, it changes your ability to see the road. Suddenly, what looked like a dead end becomes a detour toward something better. And here's the beauty: when you live in gratitude, you become a light to others. People will feel your peace. They will see how you carry yourself with grace even in chaos. Gratitude makes you contagious. It spreads calmness. It draws respect. Because when others complain, you'll still be counting blessings, and that difference will inspire them to do the same. Gratitude is not a feeling you wait for. It's a decision you make. The more you practice it, the more you realize that life has always been generous. You just needed to open your eyes. Every sunrise is a reminder that you still have time, you still have breath, and you still have purpose. And that awareness alone is enough to fill your heart with a gratitude so deep that it unlocks the flow of blessings and divine direction for your day. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of awareness. It is the place where confusion dissolves and clarity begins to form. When you learn to be still, you unlock one of the greatest powers available to any human being, the ability to hear direction in a noisy world. Most people think success is about running faster, doing more, and staying busy. But business is not progress. It's often a disguise for avoidance. Many people are moving, but they're moving without purpose. They are running through life without ever hearing what life is trying to say to them. When you wake up in the morning, the world immediately starts calling for your attention. Your phone buzzes, your mind starts racing, your responsibilities start pulling you in 10 different directions. But in that very moment, heaven is also speaking, softly, quietly, waiting for you to pause long enough to listen. Stillness is the moment where divine direction whispers its secrets. The question is, do you stop long enough to hear it? Stillness is not laziness, it's leadership of your own mind. It's the discipline to quiet the noise so you can connect with your inner compass. If you're constantly surrounded by noise, you'll confuse activity for achievement. You'll think you're productive, but you're only busy. You'll think you're focused, but you're only distracted. When you stop and become still, you see what truly matters. You begin to sense which doors to walk through and which ones to close. You begin to understand that not every opportunity is your opportunity. Think about the ocean for a moment. When the waves are raging, you can't see what's underneath. The water is cloudy, disturbed, restless. But when the wind stops and the surface becomes still, suddenly you can see clearly to the bottom. Life works the same way. When your mind is full of noise, fear, and frustration, you can't see the answers that are already there. But when you find stillness, clarity appears. Answers that were buried under anxiety begin to rise. You realize that the wisdom you were praying for was already inside you. It just needed the storm to settle. There are people who wake up every morning already exhausted before the day even starts. They rush from one thing to the next, hoping that the more they do, the more peace they'll feel. But peace doesn't come from more action. Peace comes from alignment. When you learn to pause, breathe, and become still, you allow your inner world to align with your outer world. You begin to move with direction instead of reaction. Let me give you a picture. Imagine standing in a room full of voices, all shouting instructions at you. Some are telling you to turn left, others to turn right, some to stop, some to run. You try to listen, but the noise is overwhelming. That's what life feels like when you never slow down. But if you could silence all those voices for just a moment, you'd realize there was one calm voice in the background, steady and clear, giving you the exact direction you needed all along. That voice is always there, but you can only hear it in stillness. Stillness is also the birthplace of creativity. Some of the greatest ideas, inventions, and breakthroughs came to people not while they were rushing, but while they were quiet. A quiet mind is fertile ground for inspiration. You can't download divine ideas with a cluttered signal. When you unplug from distractions, you make room for revelation. That's why clarity doesn't come when you're scrolling endlessly or talking constantly. It comes when you disconnect from the world and reconnect with your inner wisdom. Every morning, before you face your emails, your meetings, or your deadlines, take time to sit in silence. Let your thoughts settle. Listen within. You'll notice something remarkable. Answers will start surfacing. You'll suddenly know what to prioritize, who to call, what to delay, and what to release. Stillness sharpens your discernment. It helps you separate what's urgent from what's important. Most of us are trying to hear divine instruction while living in constant noise. We're asking for direction, but refusing to pause long enough to receive it. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone while blasting loud music in the background. You'd miss half of what they're saying. That's what many people do spiritually every day. They beg for clarity, but drown it out with their own noise. Stillness lowers the volume of the world so you can hear the frequency of heaven. In daily life, this practice can be simple. It might be 10 minutes sitting quietly before sunrise. It might be turning off your phone and breathing deeply at your desk before a major decision. It might be walking alone without headphones, allowing your mind to decompress. These moments of stillness recalibrate your soul. They remind you that power doesn't always come from pushing. Sometimes it comes from pausing. Have you ever noticed how your best ideas often come when you're in the shower, driving alone, or taking a quiet walk? That's not coincidence. It's because your brain finally relaxes enough to let insight flow. The same principle applies to your spirit. When you create space for stillness, revelation flows naturally. You start to recognize patterns, connect dots, and see direction where you once saw confusion. Stillness also protects your energy. Without it, you become reactive, easily irritated, easily discouraged, easily distracted. But when you cultivate stillness, you gain control over your emotions. You begin to respond instead of react. You can face challenges without losing your center. You can handle criticism without losing your confidence. That's the power of a still spirit. Nothing on the outside can disturb what's anchored on the inside. Sometimes people think they need a vacation to find peace. But peace is not a place, it's a practice. You can be sitting on a quiet beach and still be restless inside. Or you can be in the middle of chaos and remain calm because your stillness is internal. True stillness is not about escaping life. It's about mastering it. It's the ability to be centered in the storm, grounded in the noise, and focused when everyone else is frantic. Stillness is strength. It's not weakness to pause. It's not wasted time to reflect. It's not failure to stop moving for a moment. The strongest people are those who can silence the noise and listen deeply. They understand that divine direction doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you can't quiet your world, you'll never hear your calling. That's why stillness is the secret place of power, the meeting point between your purpose and your peace. Words are powerful. Every time you open your mouth, you are either creating your world or cursing it. The universe doesn't respond to what you wish for. It responds to what you declare. Each morning, the atmosphere around you is neutral, waiting for your command. It doesn't know whether to